Let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.
It's 49 reminded. What's up? How's it going, everybody? I am your host, Bashar. I am super hyped. I'm super pumped up. Today, we have one of the biggest 49er content creators out there on the land that we call the internet. It is Raj from Oursf49ers on Instagram. Bringing him on right now.
What's up, my man?
What's up, man? I love talking to you, man.
It's
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say this. It was great to finally meet you at the Kansas City game at the tailgate at Levi's. It was lit. I even ran into you after the game, and you're the most hyped up Niner fan out there. You're one of the most hyped up Niner fans, without a doubt, man.
You know, I try to stay hyped. People know me for the hype over the years, and you know, and it's just been one of those things. I tried to stay positive. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my light here, but I always try to stay positive. But man, when it's game day, it's a whole nother story. You know, I just get it so excited, and that was the first game. With the fans for almost 2 years. So it was like, yeah, man, I was like a kid in a candy store. I saw my boys dapping everybody up. It was fun times. So, and it was only a preseason game.
Exactly.
I cannot wait for the Green Bay game. That's going to be it.
I remember after the game, we ran into each other. You were like, Niners, let's go. And this guy behind me was like, what's his problem? It's only preseason. I was like, man, this guy doesn't know about being a real Niner fan, man. You just got to talk to
I was like, if you only know how hyped I am. I said, man, if you're not hyped about the fans actually being back in the stadium, I don't care if it was preseason. Like, just seeing fans out there was huge. We didn't even have preseason last season. We didn't have fans out there. That was big, man. Like, you got to bring the hype no matter what. I don't care if it's preseason, regular season. You got to get excited, man. So that guy was just like, I was like, you know what? You're just one of those fake first-class fans.
Yeah, it's all good. But let me say what's up to some people to definitely support the channel. They're always here. Might see some new faces. What's up, Gavin? Gavin all the way in Wales. I call him Niner McGregor because he sounds and talks just like Conor McGregor. He's always pumped up and always amped up. Had him on one of my previous shows. We got Amin the Dream, YouTuber. Subscribe to his channel. It says Raj the Goat. We really appreciate it, Amin the Dream. We'll have you on the show one day. Don't even trip, man. It's just because it's 49er minded. He's a big fan of my theme song, apparently. I don't know why, but we got who else in the house? The Niner you love to hate. What's up, man? That's my brother from another mother, Easy, East Bay, compadre. Says bang bang in this thing. Jay Mangold, another YouTube content creator. Subscribe to his channel. He's really big into opening trading cards and all that. Since we them San Francisco 49ers, we got that red and gold blood inside us.
Yes, sir.
And we got Pylor. Thank God the other live streams look fucking boring. Hit the like button, you filthy animals. Oh my God. It's lit today. It's lit, man. Because we got Raj here. That's what the Oursf49ers.
You know how we do it. Yeah, I'm going to bring the hype. I'm going to keep it real.
Oh, yeah. I know I missed a name on here. Niner Gang Podcast. What's up, Dion? How's it going, man? Subscribe to his channel. He's always repping the Niners. Thought I missed somebody in here. There's Joey Mahoney. He says Bash and Raj. What's good, yo? We ran in. You met Mahoney at the game at the tailgate. He was with me.
Boy, I met your boy. I met them all, man. I met your whole crew there. That was
We had fun, man. That was a lot of fun. Really quick before. So if you guys want to, if you guys do not know who he is, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows who he is. But if they don't, I have Raj's Oursf49ers social media links in the show description. So definitely check those out. If you're not following him, hit him up and follow him. He's got the best Niner content on the net, hands down.
If they're not following me now, they probably did at one point and unfollowed me because I got a lot of haters out there because they're jealous. That's it. No, man, I'm humble. I love everybody that's ever supported me. You know me, man. I'm always open to help people out. You know, I'm just another content creator like everybody else. And I've had people always ask me, hey, can you help me out? I've been doing this since 2013, man. I love everybody that's ever supported me. I love everybody out there that's doing Niner content creation. It's not easy. It's tough. So if anybody ever wants support, man, just reach out to me and I'll do what I can, man. Like you came and reached out to me and I was like, I got you, man. Let's do a show together. So
Yeah.
I just
Well,
love the team and I love covering this team, man. So
Thank you, man. Yeah.
sure.
J Mangold says we want 49er minded gear. Who knows? Maybe one day. Oursf49ers has some Trey Lance gear on his Instagram page. He's got the link for it.
Yes, sir.
Definitely check out his Trey area gear that he has. Norm 209er in the house says it's Niners all day. J don't call me Mickey Mouse says what's good. All right, so really quick, I want to address some 49 quote unquote 49er fans out there that call themselves 49er fans. This has really got to end. It's really got to stop. It's classist. It's disgusting. I don't care how much you hate a player, how much you dislike a player. If you really do hate that player or whatever, you have some personal problems, keep it to yourself. Don't sit there and tweet away death threats or just wishing ill will on certain people and certain players. It's not that serious, guys. I've seen it happen to Jalen Hurd. It's happening now to Raheem Mostert. It's got to end. It's got to stop. Anything you got to say about that, Raj?
Yeah, 100%. So I know you're talking about the Raheem Mostert, the death threats. His wife she posted a couple days ago after the game. Raheem unfortunately had the injury. But it's not just him, and it's been a lot of players through the years, and even Robert Salah. Remember when he was struggling, people are like, fire Salah, and then when he got hired from the Jets, oh my God, we can't lose Salah. So it's like people switch up. That it's a knee-jerk reaction. People are emotional, and I don't want to single just Niner fans up because I know a lot of people are saying it's Niner fans reaching out and saying, Raheem this and that, and they're sending the death threats to his wife. Because I spoke to her, I was messaging her that night, and because I saw the message, and I was just like, sending positive thoughts of it's sad to see this. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. She's got a family. They have, beautiful babies, sons, at home that they take care of. So you got to remember, they're family. They're human beings like me and you. They're adults. They're parents, like most of us here. So it's very classless. But it's not just Niner fans. I feel like it's the fantasy football community as well. Because with sports nowadays, with social media and everything, you have this big fantasy football group of fans, and they get so rabid. If your guy gets 0 points, they scream, "Oh, you suck!" And we've seen it in many other years where the players are like, "Look, I don't care about your fantasy team," and I feel like that's part of it because Raheem was supposed to be this big time fantasy running back this season. Now that he's healthy and everything, I mean, I feel bad for the guy because he's went through the injuries. He's tried to work back. You don't know how much mental anguish he's had to go through. Him, guys like Jason Verrett, Jimmy Ward, a lot of these guys, Jalen Hurd, we see it all the time, man. They call him glass bones and all these. It might sound funny when you write it, but it's not. It's not like it's like if I go to you, Bash, and I, text you like, dude, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're made out of paper, glass, you're just injury. Like that stuff hurts. I know it's just words, and they say, words will never hurt. Whatever. You remember the old saying? It hurts, man. I've been there. I've had people call me, attack me for certain things, and it hurts no matter who you are. And I agree with you, Bash. Like we cannot sit here as fans bash these people because they're individuals going out there to do their job. Maybe they might not do what we want them to do, but giving them negative energy is not going to help them do what they need to do. It's just going to hinder them, and then they're going to get irritated. It's just a bad cycle of events. And I agree. The fans that sat there and sent those death threats to Raheem, it's ridiculous. They should never have done that.
Without a doubt. So, hey, we had a game on Sunday. We played against the Lions, and unfortunately, Raheem, we didn't really get to see much of him. He got hurt early on in the game. A lot of us didn't know that watching right away. We couldn't tell he was hurt. But we did good on our draft, and we picked up a guy named Elijah Mitchell who stepped in Raheem's absence. What's your take on that, man?
Elijah Mitchell, 6th-round gem. I remember during the draft when we were going, I was covering it live, and we were sitting there, and I liked Elijah, right? I liked him. I think he was a solid player, 6th-round pick, man, 4.3 speed. And I remember everybody sitting there going, oh, we don't need running backs. This is stupid. We already got Trey Sermon. If you looked at last season, every single running back on that roster got hurt. Not one, not two. Every single running back on the roster. And I think Shanahan did a good job of making sure they have depth, on this team because the injuries are going to hit. It's week 1, and we already had 2 significant injuries, Raheem Mostert and Jason Verrett. I hate those injuries. It sucks because we won the game. It felt like it was a bittersweet win because you lose guys like that who are very vital to your team, 2 great veteran leaders on this roster. But but Mitchell stepped up big time. And again, that's why you drafted that running back there because these injuries might happen. You never know what's going to happen. I do think going back to preseason and offseason stuff, I think they should have kept Wayne Gallman somehow. But, that's a whole nother story for another day. I already discussed that. But they picked up a few running backs this week. On Johnson. They added a couple depth pieces there, so it's not like they're not trying to make moves to fill the void. But I love the Mitchell pick, and now you got Sermon, who didn't start week 1 because he was a healthy scratch because Hasty outplayed him in the preseason. Now he gets his opportunity to step in. Now you got Hasty in there. So even though Mostert's out, I don't think we took that big of a hit in the running back department because we had really good running backs to begin with. And then Jeff Wilson comes back next month. The area that I felt was really tough to take the injury was Jason Verrett, man. Cornerback 1, we were already dealing with the injury with Emmanuel Mosley, and now he's still dealing with the hamstring injury. You lose Jason Verrett. You got 9 lives, Dante Johnson somehow back on the roster. It always finds a way, right? And then you got Josh Norman, who they called back who they signed last week. I think he'll probably play this week because of the injuries, and now he's probably up to speed with the playbook a little bit more. They signed Drake Kirkpatrick. He might not play this week because he's got to kind of get up to speed this week. But they're bringing in veterans. You got the youngster, Diamador Lenore, who looked pretty impressive in his rookie debut. You got Ambry Thomas. He looks rusty. He took a year off from football last season at Michigan. He's still learning the game. So they got to really tuck her down with this secondary. I feel if Lenore can go, Norman can go, and E-Man can go with K'Wan Williams in the slot, they should be good as long as the defensive line up front does what they do, which they look scary. But to me, the biggest takeaway and my thought on that Lions game was, the secondary to me is still going to be an issue right now. And I feel like it might still be a work in progress after these next few weeks. Maybe they trade, maybe they sign more people. Maybe Sherman gets a call. I know Kyle Shanahan said that they wouldn't put that like buried away. They still would consider bringing in Richard Sherman. So hopefully if they need him, they can bring him in. But again, with Sherman, there's a lot of legal stuff that he's got to go through and mental, personal things. So we got to make sure he's ready personally, mentally, and legally to get on the field. But those are the things with the secondary that I kind of have noticed over the last couple of days.
I'll touch on that in just a second. I want to go back to the running backs really quick. Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch, but I hear he's getting started not in Philly, so we're definitely going to see him, man. And we need him because Mostert's not going to be there. CG Ruthless Sports, what's up, man? Go subscribe to his channel. He's brutally honest and nothing but brutally honest. Sermon will be fresh. Watch out, Philly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see what Sermon can bring to the table. Want to see what's up to another dude in the chat. Tommy Huxley, what's up, dog? Badass guitarist. Go check out his channel. Picked up another back on waivers from the Baltimore Ravens. These guys are all fantasy. I can't do fantasy. I retired. What's up?
Cannon, that's the guy.
Oh yeah, Cannon. Didn't we got Kerryon Johnson too, right?
Yeah. Kerryon Johnson. They had him on the practice squad, but you never know. Maybe they might elevate one of those guys.
We'll see what they do.
I don't see them getting elevated this week because you got Sermon, Hasty, and Mitchell. But in case they may bring them up later down, specifically Kerryon, maybe later down in the season if you need them. But now they added that depth, which is important.
We're gonna talk DBs in just a second because you touched on it. I just wanted to bring this up before I forget. You're the first guy that I know that said "Bang Bang Niner Gang." I just want a lot of people. I remember I was saying it at one point. People were like, "Oh, why are you copying?" Because I had the chat group name "Bang Bang Niner Gang" at one point. Somebody was trying to tell me that I copied off the E40 and all this stuff. I'm like, well, my boy Raj was saying "Bang Bang Niner Gang" back in 2014 when I first knew him on Facebook.
Saying it for years, man. I remember actually, E40 follows my page, and I remember when he was on KNBR. And he explained how he got it. And I was a little shaded because, I've been saying bang, bang, nine again. Like, there's a couple stories. I can sit here and talk about all that, but we're not even here to talk about it. But anyways, KNBR interview, and they asked him, where did you get the inspiration for the song? Where'd you come up with it? He goes, I was on social media, and I saw this page, and I saw Bang, Bang, Nana Gang over and I thought to myself, oh, this would be a good song. So basically, he didn't give me my credits, and he talked about it. So everybody, I remember when he dropped the song, they were all tagging me.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Give us a Bang Bang Niner Gang in Raj fashion.
Bang, bang, Niner Gang!
That's the Raj I want to hear. All right, our defensive back, Diamador Lenore out of Oregon. Looked quite impressive in his rookie debut. It sucks. Verrett went down. We love what he's did for our team, but he's had a checker pass with injuries, and it's terrible. It's horrible. I hate seeing our players go down like that. Good that we brought in Kirkpatrick. We'll see what he's made of. Norman, see what he's made of. And you mentioned Dante Johnson. You call him the cat with 9 lives. Whenever I mention
100 lives now.
So pretty much, yeah. And every time they keep tweeting that he's released and now he's back on the team. He's released. I'm like, I just made a tweet one time when I put the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. There's a joke on my So I used to call him 9 lives, and now people just put the comment, the emoji, the recycle emoji, because they just recycled this man. That's all they do is they cut him, they bring him back. But my joke was, I feel like he's got some dirt on the front office because they cut him, they bring him back, and he finds his way back on the roster. It's like he probably calls up Kyle, like, yo, if you guys don't sign me back, guess who's gonna be leaking these pictures, right? It's crazy. I mean, he's been around the team for a while. It's since 2014. So I feel like, of course, he's familiar with the coaching staff and the team and everything. But at some point, you got to get somebody different, man. You got to bring somebody else that, and we know what Dante's going to do. He's not this elite cornerback, but he's depth. Hopefully, we don't have to use him. But man, the secondary situation to me is definitely the concern. The front.
You always have to make your roster better. See how we challenged our running backs, right?
Yeah.
We drafted 2 running backs. People like we didn't need running backs. Hopefully, Avery Thomas, I don't know if he's going to do it mid-season or next year. He took a year off of football. He's behind the curve. Hopefully, he steps up to where Demo's going because we need all the help we can get.
Demo looked good, yeah. I want to talk about Demo. He allowed 1 catch on 3 targets for 3 yards in his debut. He's a rookie. He played 90 snaps, the most of any defensive player in the NFL. That's pretty damn impressive for a rookie. I know he played some backups in here, but still, he put up great film. He looked good. They weren't throwing his way because they were like, okay, this guy's actually pretty good. But we have to have that consistency. He's going to have a lot of tests. We got DK, we got Lockett, Cooper Kupp, the NFC West, DeAndre Hopkins. The NFC West is a bloodbath. It's nasty. So he has to be able to sustain that against these big-time receivers. But I will say, Deommodore Lenoir has looked good even in camp. I agree with you with Ambry. He's got a long way to go compared to Lenoir. But there was a guy, David Lombardi, the other day, he tweeted it when he was talking about the cornerbacks they've been looking at. Sherman's still in the mix. They went after Drake Kirkpatrick. They actually looked at Cameron Dantzler, cornerback from Minnesota. He was a second-round pick last year. He's a second-year player in the league. He's not a bad player. He's kind of flirting with the roster. He's kind of in the bottom of the depth chart. I don't know. He's fallen out of favor in Minnesota. Might be a guy that they want to just get rid of, kind of get a fresh start. I'm not saying we're going to trade for him, but it's a guy that I think if the Niners have called about him already, maybe they've done some due diligence. Maybe in a few weeks, let's say E-Man's hamstring's not ready. Let's say Norman's not panning out, or Drake Kirkpatrick, or just, the depth is thin. They might make a call and say, hey, look, can we get Dancer for a bargain? Maybe a 3rd-round pick, because we don't have a lot of high assets to make big trades, but he's a young corner that maybe they can pull a trade in later down the line. They did have to make a move a couple years back with Emmanuel Sanders. Remember, trade deadline come, they were struggling at wide receiver, and they pulled the trigger. So that's something I'm keeping my eye on.
Without a doubt. And the pass rush is going to have to help out even more now but I did like what I saw from D Ford, man. He looked pretty damn good after taking all that time off with injuries. And Bosa was back. He got a sack. I heard he got held a whole lot. I got to go back and rewatch the game and see how much he really got held. I didn't really notice it as much because I was caught up in other things while I was watching. But yeah, our D-line definitely needs to step up in the run game and pass rush even more now. Let's talk about Aiyuk really quick at the wide receivers. I know we were talking defense, but I want to go back to offense.
I want to get to that pass rush real quick.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, the D-line to me is the key to this whole defense. If they can get that upfront pressure, it's going to help the secondary no matter who's back there, like in 2019, right? But the thing with that D-line, I was so happy to see Bosa and Ford. You're right. Bosa coming back was great. Ford coming back, I didn't think that Ford was going to make the roster because of all the injuries. He had a back injury, a lot of hamstring issues, a lot of nagging chronic injuries. He came back. Just seeing him out there was great. He looked pretty good, man. I thought he gave us more snaps than I could ever predict in week 1. So it was nice to see it. I like it. He's only going to get better. It was kind of a conditioning game for him. It was just like a rev up. And same thing with Bosa. First game back after 357 days, he looked pretty good. He got a sack. He had 4 pass run stops. He had like 3 quarterback pressures. He was getting held a lot. I will give Penny Sewell some credit because that kid looked pretty damn good. They played him in left tackle. And he held his own against Bosa. Granted, this was Bosa's first game back. It was a tune-up game, but they were battling. I will say, Sewell, he was doing this to Bosa. He was holding him a little bit, but, he did hold his own. Bosa was coming off the blocks pretty quick. He did get the sack. I feel like towards the end of that game, I feel like Bosa was starting to feel like Bosa. And I think as the season gets on and on, Nick Bosa is going to get scarier and better. You got to remember, first game back, he was moving well, and that's what you want to look. He looked comfortable, and that was important. And he didn't hurt himself. He didn't swell up. He didn't flare up. So that was key. And that D-line looked good. The biggest takeaway that I saw from that D-line that I didn't like was the fact that Javon Kinlaw wasn't in there, and I know he's dealing with some knee issues. I hope he could come back because the run defense was bad, and I feel a lot of that was because he didn't have Kinlaw. That man takes up a lot of space, right? He can occupy two linemen on him and open up the gaps for everybody else. So I feel Kinlaw needs to get back there. Right now, he's dealing with the knee issue. He may not be back right now, and that's kind of tough. A guy that people shit on a lot, part of my language, Arik Armstead, he was getting held a lot. He was actually pretty active everywhere. He had 9 pressures. So people hate on Armstead. He played pretty damn good on Sunday.
Yeah, we need Kinlaw on the field without a doubt. We definitely invested a lot to get that guy on our team. You know, high draft pick. Mm-hmm. So I was saying Bosa. He said Bosa, and I was gonna imitate Joey Mahoney when we drafted Bosa. He was always like, "I wanted Bosa," and it became like our little inside joke catchphrase. Yeah. I had to shout that out. Let me say what's up to Lawrence Jackson. Where is he? He said something. Gave you a shout out. Lawrence Jackson Jr. Subscribe to his channel as a YouTuber. Oursf49ers, my sons and I are big fans on Instagram, brother. Excellent work. So I had to let Raj know about that one.
Appreciate you, man.
Kind words. And we got CG Ruthless in the house. He's typing away in the chat. A lot of people up in the chat. Let's go on to the next topic. I was going to mention, Brandon Aiyuk and the wide receivers. So Debo had himself an amazing game, career game. And it was, for our offense in general, it was excellent. The first time since 2012 since we had a 300-yard passer. Hats off to Jimmy. Very good game, Jimmy. Better than I expected. Better than what we saw last year from Jimmy. So hats off to him. So 300-yard passer, 100-yard rusher, Elijah Mitchell, and 100-yard receiver in Debo. But I don't know what it is with Aiyuk. And you might be able to answer this better than I can. Was it a hamstring? Did he miss a curfew? Or Shanahan saying that he's behind Sherfield or something. I don't know what's going on. I expect to see a whole lot of Aiyuk in this Philly game. I don't care what anybody's saying or speculating. He has to be out there and he has to be targeted. Philly's a damn good team. You cannot sit there and just throw the ball to one guy the whole damn game against Philly. It will work against Detroit, but not Philly.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Debo, I got to put first and foremost, I've been telling everybody about Debo. We were talking this offseason, and he says he's ready to come and prove himself. And I kept saying, different focus. He's even said it. He's been doing different preparations, and that's the thing. If Debo's healthy, he's going to cook. I think he got irritated because everybody hypes up all the other third-year receivers, which are good, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, all those guys that came in his class, but they forgot about Debo, and he looked so good. But you're right. You can't use one player. They got to open it up. They got to get Kittle involved more. They got to get Aiyuk more. And the thing with Aiyuk is there's a lot to it. There's a lot to unravel. There's a lot to unpack with Brandon Aiyuk. First and foremost, yes, he did have a hamstring issue, and that limited him in camp a little bit. You got to remember, a hamstring issue can linger. You also have to know that there was a lot of pressure on him entering his second season. Everybody's been touting him as the big-time second-year wide receiver. He had a great first year, right? He had an excellent first year, one of the best rookie seasons for any 49er wide receiver, right? It was a great year. And he didn't even play a full year, right? So there was a lot of expectations. That takes a lot on any player in any sport. That's a lot of expectations. So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He put himself in a position to succeed this offseason, the training. He looked good coming into training camp. He started off with a hamstring injury. Okay, that's limited. He's rushing back. He's probably trying to say, okay, I can't let this injury hamper me. I got to get out there and play. You can just see that he's in a mental funk. He's dropped some passes in preseason. But to me, it's preseason, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Everybody has a tough day here and there in the office. Preseason, to me, the hamstring was the issue, and I feel like Kyle today was the big thing where and first, before I get to that, everybody's saying he missed curfew. That's stupid. I mean, I know people are making up rumors and this and that. If you don't know what's happening, don't sit there and say that, because I hate when people make up these stories. Nobody knows about that. The one thing we know is what Kyle Shanahan said today, and he did say that Trent Sherfield came in and he razzled and dazzled and he wowed himself. He wowed Kyle this offseason, and that's part of it. The part of it is Trent Sherfield came in and he worked his ass off and he looked good. So you have to give him credit. Just like the whole Sermon and Hasty. Hasty came in, balled out, and he earned that play on Sunday over Sermon. So I feel like that was part of it. Now, the other part is the hamstring issue was there. But I feel like Aiyuk was, practicing and well enough to practice and go into the game. So he suited up. You got to remember, we have Jalen Hurd, injured reserve. He's not active. We got Travis Benjamin, who they called up late. Okay. Juwan Jennings, he's still basically a rookie because he didn't play last season. So our wide receiver corps was actually pretty thin. If you think about it on Sunday, they kind of had to play Aiyuk in a pinch, right? If he's got a hamstring issue, he's out there. I didn't like how, okay, if he's injured and he's limited, you're not giving him any targets, but then you throw him in at punt return. So it was kind of a mixed bag of how Kyle handled it. Now, today, he basically called him out, and I didn't like how he handled it. I know he said some good stuff. He also said some negative stuff regarding Aiyuk. I'm going to read the whole statement because some people are kind of reading it incorrectly, I feel. I mean, you can read it the way you want to read it and explain, take it the way you want to take it. But let's go right into it. So I'm going to read the full statement that he had, that Kyle Shanahan said today. It's kind of a lot, like I said. And I feel that he kind of is in the doghouse, low key. I kind of feel like he's got Dante Pettis vibes, and there's a lot of parallels there. Now, Brandon Aiyuk is a great player. He's too talented to get in a funk and struggle. But you got to remember, second-year star, Pettis, second-year player, right? He was coming in with all these expectations. Mentally, that takes a lot on your brain, right? They both had hamstring issues coming into camp. They kind of struggled in camp. And the fans want him to succeed. The players want him to succeed. And then he kind of went down in the pecking order, right? He comes in, and he's not. So there's parallels there. So it feels, and a lot of people are saying that today, there's Dante Pettis vibes. I kind of agree that there is, but let's read the whole statement. So anytime you have a setback with the hamstring and you have a guy behind you playing as well as Trent played, I know Trent wasn't a first-round draft pick, so you might not be as obvious with the talent level, but he's been a hell of a football player since he's been here. Aiyuk's been a little inconsistent because he's been in and out with his injury, which we mentioned, right? And that's what we felt was the best chance for us last week. Aiyuk still got a chance to get that spot up and rotate as much. Trent just doesn't make that very easy. So again, he's saying this guy Trent has come in and worked himself into that role, right? And then he says, so these next 3 days are important as much. Trent, it says, we have to balance out our game plan, how we balance out our routes. And I'm happy with Aiyuk. It's nothing against him. He did say it's nothing against him to kind of cover himself, I feel. I'm also just as happy with Trent. So it feels like he's seeing how good Trent has done, and it's kind of overshadowing what Aiyuk has done last season, right? And I think that both of them can continue to get better. And he goes, I'm not trying to single out anybody because it's like every player, you've got to grow in every single area. This isn't like we're punishing Aiyuk or something. It kind of feels like it, right? And then he says, because Trent got even reps with them and we rotated these guys, I'm not going to sit here and say he's got to do A, B, and C to get back out there. It's more, we've been practicing the last month, and one guy has been there every day. So, again, the injury is an issue, and the quarterback's got a lot of confidence in him. Then I do too. He goes, this is the biggest part of the quote. He goes, if he, which is Aiyuk, wants to be out there every single play, he's got to do a lot better than the guy behind him. That's deep, man. That tells me that he feels that Trent Sherfield has come in this preseason and outplayed Aiyuk, and now he's taken his spot. And if you remember last season in the draft, he said Brandon Aiyuk was the best wide receiver he saw. So I feel he's kind of low-key, I wouldn't say fully in the doghouse, but I feel like he's like favoring Trent Sherfield right now because of how amazing he looked. And you got to realize Brandon Aiyuk, again, a second-year player. He's very young. This is tough on him mentally. I don't like how he aired that out in public. Should have had this private conversation. And all he should have said to the media was, he's got a hamstring issue and we're working through it. That's all he should have said. That was a pretty big statement he said. So
I was going to say this. If you guys watch Grant Cohn, a lot of people hate Grant Cohn or they get mad when I reference it, but they got to deal with that themselves. He makes a point, though. Kyle Shanahan has a bad thing about him where he kind of dogs his players in his pressers. There's certain things, and we all know this in the professional world, that you have to keep certain things in-house.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he just babbles away and says whatever on his mind, even though it might be the truth for whatever reason. But I just think there's a better way of doing it. Let me just say what's up to other couple of people in the chat that were on. We got Rose Royce says, Niners run the ball good. We win. It's simple. Okay, and somebody else was in here, too, that I missed. Just a second. Who was? I thought I saw somebody. Maybe I didn't. Oh, 49ers first takes. What's up, man? It says 49er Minder, what's up? Subscribe to this guy's channel. He had me on the guest. He puts out really good content. Definitely check his channel without a doubt. He's repping all the way in the state of New York. Glad to have you on here. And I'm sure I got something else that we can touch on. I know I had a whole list of topics. I don't think I can go through everything, but
I'll try to cover. Actually, I'm looking.
Let's cover Jimmy really quick. Jimmy, Hey man, he had a good game, dude. A lot of people didn't like what they saw from Jimmy last year, including myself. I didn't like what I saw. I do want to see Trey Lance eventually be the starter, but again, I don't want him necessarily handed the job either. So, we don't necessarily have to rush Trey Lance like a lot of people think we have to do. So, what's your take on the whole Jimmy's week 1 play?
Jimmy was a baller, man. He played good, efficient. He played Jimmy G ball, man. He made the mistake to start the game, and he brushed it off, and he balled out after that. He looked good. He was very efficient, 300 yards passing, touchdown, no interceptions. I loved it, man. And this is the thing. Jimmy has handled himself so damn well, so professional this whole offseason. You got to love it, man. He's a professional. He's very classy. He's done everything right. He's done nothing wrong. And I love Trey. I'm the biggest Trey Lance fan you can have, and I can't wait till he starts. But right now, Jimmy's done nothing wrong, and he played a hell of a game, and I think he can continue to do that. The only thing I didn't like was how Shanahan used Trey Lance. I feel like maybe a lot of it had to do with the finger issue. They didn't know how good he was and how good he was going to respond, so they wanted to kind of limit him. But the 3rd and 20 play that they put him in, they ran the ball. That was bad play calling. I feel like you got to fix those situations. But overall, Jimmy, man, he impressed me after the game. His press conference was classy. He went over and hugged and gave Trey Lance the pat on the back after the touchdown, which they pulled Jimmy to let Trey throw the ball, man. And he comes up to him and class act, man. That you got to love Jimmy. He's been so professional through his whole thing. I think he's the perfect guy for this whole situation, the mental aspect that he's got. He's handled it well. He's a man's man. And, it was a tumultuous offseason, and he's handled it well. And I think he's going to continue to do good. And, he's fed off of the hate over the last year, and a lot of people disrespect him. And I think the competition that Trey has brought has made him better, and I think that's going to show weekly on game day. But yeah, I respect Jimmy for what he did. I don't think he played bad. Going back to Aiyuk real quick, I feel he even and Jimmy even touched on it. He says, Aiyuk's too good of a talented player to have a struggle. I just feel that, like you said, you got to keep that kind of stuff in house. I just felt like it was just a weird situation how Kyle kind of brought it up today, and I was of course media's going to ask because we see it, but I think he could have handled it better. But that's just Kyle, man. Kyle's a weird dude, and I don't know, man. I don't know, but as far
Good
as
way
Jimmy,
of putting it.
As far as Jimmy, he was good.
Yeah, Jimmy had a good game. It's all about consistency. We'll see what he does throughout the year. We're playing a much stronger D line. O line did good this past game. Hats off to them. I like what I saw from Trent Williams and the boys. Alex Mack was balling. McGlinchey crushed the living daylights of whoever he was blocking on that Elijah Mitchell touchdown.
Those blocks were cold blood. Yeah, the O line was so good, man. PFF rated him the number 5. Trent Williams was one of the highest rated, players in O line. Like the whole O line was good, man. They weren't really allowing pressures, and that was the other key. Jimmy G, a lot of times the last few years, he was always getting rushed pretty quickly. Granted, it is Detroit Lions. We got to take it with a grain of salt. No disrespect to them. But Jimmy was being able to stay upright in the pocket. That was key. You got to credit the O-line. They looked so good, and I feel that was a big reason of Jimmy's success is he's got to stay healthy. We all know that, and part of him being able to stay healthy is the O-line keeping him upright and keeping his jersey clean, and they managed that on Sunday. So that was a good performance. I definitely like to see the O-line, making strides. And it brings me to the draft. It's like, okay, they took Aaron Banks, the round 2 pick. Did they really need to do it after how good the O-line starting line looks like? We definitely need depth.
For depth purposes, definitely.
Definitely need depth, but man, I would have liked to have Asante Samuel, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, he was on my list, but when we drafted the other 2 corners, I was like, okay, that kind of makes up for it. We'll see. Yeah, but of course, Asante was kind of a no-brainer pick. I got you on that one. I forgot to mention it. Shout out to Trey Lance, first pass thrown in the NFL, touchdown, Trey area. It's just a little glimpse of what we're going to see in the future. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. I know you can't be on here for too long, so let's talk about Philly. They looked. Oh, and really quick, Drake Greenlaw, pick 6.
Oh, don't forget it. We almost
and Aziz, baby, please, Aziz.
Don't forget about the linebackers look good, and that's the thing. So real quick, D'Amico Ryans, I give him a C+ on his debut because they were looking pretty good. Run defense, like we talked about earlier, you need to fix that. You got to remember, this is a whole new defensive coordinator. His first game, it took Salah a long time to kind of get into the groove and fix everything and get to where he was. I think D'Amico is going to be a very successful defensive coordinator. Linebackers were looking good. You can tell that he's really worked hard on the linebackers. course, he was the LB coach, and he was a linebacker himself. Azeez Al-Shahir, man, the rise of Azeez is upon us. This guy was all over the damn field. Drake Greenlaw with the pick six. Credit D Ford. He got the pressure on Goff to allow that to happen. But, man, Drake Greenlaw, special player, and the greatest stat after he got that interception in the last 3 years, the 49ers have got a pick six on Jared Goff. You got Kinlaw, you got Fred Warner, and Drake Greenlaw. All of them had a pick six on Jared Goff, man. But I will say, towards the end of the game, it feels like the wind was knocked out of their sails with the Jason Verrett injuries, and rightfully so. Everybody was crushed. You can tell he was, it was a big injury. You could tell just the vibe he had. He was crying on his way to the locker room. And I feel that really changed the momentum. You had to throw Dante Johnson and Ambry Thomas in a pinch, and they weren't expecting to play. So I feel a lot of people were like, oh, the defense is bad. They were horrible. But you got to remember, Jason Verrett goes down, and everybody's scrambling. They made some special teams mistakes here. I think that overall, D'Amico was good, but, he wasn't perfect. The biggest issue I saw, and it wasn't secondary, was run defense. You need to fix that. But I think that a lot of has to do with Javon Kinlaw. Thoughts on Philly? It's going to be a tough game. I know a lot of people are expecting us to go in there and crush him. Jalen Hurts is a tough-ass quarterback. He looked good. I know they played the Falcons, but they look good. It's a road game. We've been on the road now for this going to be 2 weeks in a row. That takes a toll. We don't get to sleep on our own beds. We have to sleep in a hotel. Takes a toll, I think, mentally and physically. And they have a good D-line. They have a good O-line, on the edges. They have a pretty solid team. They have, I think, a team that's going to make us work. I think we'll win, but it's not going to come easy. I love having Trey Lance because he's going to make us, prepare better for a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts. They already said he's the main guy on the scouting team. Before they had to use C.J. Beathard and Richie James as the scouting quarterback for planning against a mobile quarterback. Now you have Trey Lance, who's literally a mobile quarterback. So that's going to help us. And I think this is the first major test for our defense because we've had a lot of struggles going up against these mobile quarterbacks over the years. So this is a big, big test.
Without a doubt. It does help to have better pass rushers sitting behind Ford and Bosa. Now we got Sosa. Sosa had a sack. Samson Ebukam. Arden Key, who I still like. Joey Mahoney put me on the Arden Key before the draft and wanted us to draft him, but he went to the Raiders, but hey, he's a Niner now. Let me say what's up. This is who I want to say what's up to. Big Play Slay. He's an Eagles fan all the way over in New York, and he's got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to his channel. Big supporter of the channel. A really good guy. He's not one of those Eagles fans that will boo Santa Claus, so don't worry about it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Respect to him.
And I know you're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you a couple of fan questions. It's cool. We got time for that?
Yeah, let's go. I got about a couple more minutes.
Okay, cool. How'd you become a Niner fan? And you're not from California, right?
No,
originally.
I was born in Texas, raised in Vegas. So my dad, rest in peace, my dad, he was a huge fan. So when he came to America, well, actually before he came to America, we're from India, right? Our family's from India. He used to travel to San Francisco from Hong Kong and India and stuff. He was an international tailor. He had a clothing business and he was a tailor. And then he'd go for these big outings to San Francisco and stuff to get merchandise and stuff like that. And then he'd link up and meet with local, fashion designers and things like that. And he'd come to SF a lot, right? There's a lot of nightlife and stuff and parties after they did their work. And Niners were big in the 80s. It was the early 80s. That's when they first became, the Niner Empire, the dynasty, the catch, right? And he fell in love with that team. He saw them beat Dallas. He saw the catch. He saw it all. He saw Joe Montana. He fell in love. So when we moved to America, actually, eventually my family came to America in the 80s. And, it was a big rivalry. He hated the Cowboys because of the fact that he was a Niner fan. But they lived in Texas, man. They lived in South Texas. Growing up, I was in South Texas. Most of my family that lived in Texas were all Cowboy fans. But my dad was like, nah, screw that. We're Niner fans straight up. And they hated him. He always had beef with the family because of that when the football season was up. So when I was born, he made sure to say, hey, look, you're a Niner fan or you get out of the house, basically. And then in the 90s, when I was basically growing up, right, the big rivalry, Niners, Cowboys, Deion Sanders, the whole 9 yards, 95 Super Bowl, the thing. And, I was a Niner fan because of my dad. And when we won that Super Bowl, it was like Christmas in February, and it was amazing. And after that, I was like, now I see why he's a Niner fan. It's the greatest team ever. And because of my dad, I always kept the legacy going. So.
God rest your father's soul. That's interesting because I come from an immigrant family. We're the first generation to come here. And we did my parents coming from the Middle East, like we did not they had no knowledge of what American football was. So
Yeah.
my brother got me into it, and then later we kind of got my mom and dad into it when we were watching they'd watch with us when we were in the playoffs. You know, they're
Yeah.
super casual. But yeah, that's cool, man, that your dad made you a Niner fan, and
Yeah.
he became a Niner fan before he even
He
lived
was
here.
a
That's
huge Niner
nuts.
fan. And it's funny because
Yeah.
in India they don't have football. So when he would come out here, that's what they would watch football. So he like loved the sport. He's like, show me more, teach me about this sport. Because in India, it's cricket, it's soccer and cricket. That's all you got. So when he came to America, he was like so ahead of everybody else in our family, and he was like, "Oh my God, the 49ers football!" Like he was a football fanatic. I remember sitting there on Sundays with him, man, and it was like football all day. And you think I'm hype? You think I get crazy, bro? That's where I got it from.
That's where you got it from, huh?
He's the definition of hype beast, man. He was crazy.
I'm almost done with the personal questions, and then I'll let you
Yeah,
go, bro.
see
I know
you.
you. Okay, first Niner game you ever been to, and your experience. How was it?
So talking about my dad, so that's another thing. When we were in Vegas, as like I said, we lived in Vegas for many years. That's where I was raised. Every year, from when I was like 5 or 6, probably about 5. Yeah, it was 6 because we came in '89. So when I was 6 years old, every year he would say, "Look, we're gonna go to San Francisco and watch a game." Every year, no matter what. And it was just me and him, not my sister. My mom wouldn't come, nobody else. It was just like the boys trip, right? When I was 6, he started taking me. The first game I really remember was when I was about 9 years old, and we went back to San Francisco and we watched the Niners Saints. Remember, the Saints were a big rivalry back in the '90s, and man, it was
NFC
just
West.
amazing being in this Candlestick Park. It was just amazing, and every year we would go to a game. It was just me and him. We'd go to SF. We'd do it like a little tourist trip. Go ride the BART one day. Hit the pier. Do the whole tourist trip on Saturday, and then Sunday, we'd go to the game at Levi Stadium, and it was crazy. And then the next day, Monday, even if I had school, he'd be like, "Yeah, he's sick. He can't make it to school." And then, we'd fly back. So,
Okay.
But yeah, Saints Niners actually back when I was like 9 years
Yeah.
old, back in like '93 or '94, '93. Yeah, and then there's a home game in Candlestick, I believe.
Yeah, they were our division rivals. Let me say what's up to 49ers Ultimate Report. John J says likes, comments, subscribe. He had 1,000 subscribers recently. Congratulations to him.
Go.
We got Titan Troll, and I don't know who this guy is. He's got a funny name, but he says, "What's up, 49er? Mind how you doing?" Big Titans fan, I guess. Your first experiences meeting players, or were there any cool experiences or stories with that?
I got a lot, man. We've talked about this.
You know every player in real life, pretty much.
No, I don't know every player, but I have one of my good friends from high school, Mustafa Abdi. Shout out to the homie Moose. Man.
Shout out to him, man. He's been doing a lot of good things on his Instagram page,
He does so
and he's
much
fighting
good
really
stuff.
hard for his people in Afghanistan that are suffering. I have so much respect for that guy.
Yeah, he's my boy. He's like my brother, like straight up, like you know how people say brother from another mother. He really is like a true brother to me. I've known him since high school, man, and I'm an old dude. I'm 37, so I've known him for a long time. But he knows a lot of the players. I won't get into how he knows everything. I'm not going to talk about him personally, but he knows a lot of connections. So sometimes, when I've hung out with him, we got to meet players and stuff. I remember this was the coolest story of meeting a player back in, I think it was 2000. I want to say 14. We played the Ravens. Sorry, hold on, my phone died. Okay, so we played the Ravens. Kaepernick was our quarterback, and we had gotten. It was the game where it was like he throws the bomb touchdown pass to Torrey Smith. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that game on Sharice Wright. We cut Sharice Wright like
Against who?
Against the Ravens.
I was at that game.
Yeah, I remember that game. He was we cut Sharice Wright, the cornerback, like the week before. Then the Ravens signed him, and we threw a deep bomb touchdown right on Sharice Wright. It was classic. It was like, oh my God, no wonder we cut him. Anyways, we win the game, right? And I go back and meet. We're watching the game. He goes, "Yo, come with me. We got to meet some folks." I was like, "All right, cool." Hanging out with him and the crew. There's Parag Marath, dude, and I'm like, "Oh shit, it's Parag, it's Pete." He goes, "Yo, this is my boy Raj." He introduces me. We're hanging out with Parag, and he's like, "Yo, come with me." And we went to the back. Players are back there, and he goes, "Yo, just come in this place. Someone wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Who is it?" We walk in there. Kaepernick's there. DJ E-Rock's there. Kaepernick's family's there. Apparently, I didn't even know until later. It was like Kaepernick's family's, his parents, it was like their anniversary. So he was in there. They had this big spread, all this like food out on the table. So I'm sitting there chilling with Kaepernick, his family. We're talking. My boy's there. And Quentin Patton comes in, says, "What's up?" And we're just having like this big old dinner with Kaepernick and his family. It was the weirdest thing, but it was the coolest thing. That was like one of the first times I ever met a player, and it was just
Well, that's cool, man. That's what a way to be the player. I met mine randomly. One time I bumped into Patrick Willis in the basketball court. Had a little chat with him. Really cool guy. Let me say what's up to a good buddy of mine, Rogue Republican. Very, very good friend of mine. Met him through my brother. God rest my brother's soul. He's a big Niner fan. So his Bang Bang Niner gang, living in Texas. Let's talk about. I got one. Let me ask you one more fan question, and then we'll talk about Paris Harrison, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
All right. So this is food related. I'm a big foodie. Okay, if you're gonna go to pizza and somebody says, "Hey, we're gonna go to the best pizza spot in town," is it gonna be a Chicago style pizza place, or are you gonna go for some New York style pizza? What are you gonna do?
Oh, that's tough because I like them both. I love food too. I know I don't look like I do, but I'm a big big food guy. If I gotta take a choice between Chicago and New York, you gotta go with the New York deep dish, man. There's something about that crust and everything. It's just so good. So.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty hard. If you haven't eaten all day, that's a good pizza to eat without a doubt. Yeah. Okay, so did you ever get to meet Paris Harrison?
I've never met him. I mean, I know obviously who he is. Rest in peace, man. That was sad. He's 30. He's my age, man. 37, and he passed away. That's sad. That was a tragic news when I saw that the other day. That was horrible.
From what I read from some people that I know apparently I know a lot of people who have met him. I'm surprised you didn't, because a lot of people I know in the South Bay have ran into him and have known him personally. I've heard nothing but amazing things about him. Actually, I didn't even know this. One of my good friends is a coworker. She went to college with him, and she was telling me all kinds of stuff yesterday. And some other guy I know was talking about how he used to work at some restaurant, and Paris Harrison was always a frequent customer. And he just went out of his way to be friends and friendly with everybody that worked there. And it's, I remember my friend was texting me about Paris Harrison yesterday and said something about him out of the blue. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know why he's talking about Paris Harrison. Then I checked another message that I got 5 minutes prior, which I saw late, and it said something about Paris Harrison passing away. I was like, whoa, what's going on here, man? That sucks. So from what I heard from people that I know who know him, I'm not sure how legit it is. I heard it was a brain aneurysm. So it really sucks. God rest his soul. May he rest in peace. He was a good player, very solid player. He worked for the organization afterwards as well, and he will definitely be missed. Any final thoughts? If you want to plug yourself or anything you want to say before you go? Talking
about Paris, man. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, man. Yeah.
To him, it's unfortunate. Like you said, he was with the team for 7 years. He was a solid role player on this team, and he worked with the team for several years after he was a player. So. He was close to this organization. That's tough to see stuff like that. The biggest thing is, like you said, a lot of people have said that he was a good person. I had a lot of people message me, DM me that knew him personally, and they said the same thing. They said this guy was a amazing human being. So, his family, if they're watching or if they ever hear this or whatever, just know that, Paris was loved and he was an amazing person, and rest in peace. And I want to send prayers and thoughts to his family and friends, anybody that's ever known him, because that's just terrible. Life is short. You never know what's going to happen. So just count your blessings and live every day the best that you can. That's my best advice. I don't really want to plug myself, but if you want to go and check me out, Oursf49ers, Instagram, Twitter. We got a YouTube coming up eventually. You know how we do.
You come up with the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
You gotta put me on there, man. Come on, man.
Oh, I put you on, man. You know me.
Not trying to beg, but no, hey, yeah. If you don't know who this guy is, click on my show description on the details. Then you'll probably be like, oh, I follow this guy. I've been following this guy for years. I know who that is.
No, that's the annoying guy that was Justin Fields at 3. Come on, man.
I thought so too. But hey, for me it was 1A or 1B, either Fields or Lance.
Yeah, I was cool with Lance.
So, hey, I want to just say shout out to everybody in the chat. There's one Buffalo Bills fan saying, what's up? Good luck this season. Good luck this season from a Bills fan. You guys got Josh Allen. You guys got a really good quarterback. So good luck to you guys.
Hey, good luck, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It was a great turnout. The short's a tiny bit shorter because, Raj is a family man. Got to do his thing. But we had a great time on here. I want to say thank you for coming on here. Finally got you on. I'm looking forward to your YouTube channel when you put it out. Without a doubt, I'll be subscribed, checking it out.
Yes, sir.
Just again, hopefully we win in Philly. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be a tough game ahead of us. And rest in peace, Paris Harrison. Very, very unfortunate. And rest in peace to some Niner fans that passed away recently. One of them I know, Bunky Moreno, the head of the 916 Sacramento 49er Empire. Really, really good guy. Really, I don't know if you ever met him, but really, really cool dude, man. So that a lot of people were really hit hard by that loss. So with that said, guys, keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Rest in peace, Paris Harrison. Thank you, Raj. Good night. Come on, 49er, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
gotta do this one time for the Empire. Coming
It's
straight
49 in mind. It's 49 in mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49 in mind.
Yeah, area. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49 in mind.
We from the Bay.
49 in mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49 in mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49 in mind.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for putting me on, bro. Thank you for coming on my show. Really, really appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was fun. It was a good show.
Yeah, it was very fun, man. I knocked out most of the questions. If we do come on again, I'll have a couple other questions for you, just for the fun.
Yeah,
of it,
I think we pretty much knocked them out, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Take care, dude. It was
Hey,
a ton of
appreciate
fun,
it,
man. Really appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
You too, man. Good night.
All right, my man.